I'm like, how are we in somebody else's Zoom?
Yeah, without the host there.
I
Oh my
know.
God. Okay, well we made it work.
We did
I
it.
okay, I hear you, Pam, and I hear you, Jeremy. I think we're good. Oh my
Yay.
God, Pam, I have that same Foo Fighters poster in my room.
Do you really?
Yes.
Is it from Urban Outfitters?
It was a gift. Yeah, my friend got it for
Okay.
me.
It's probably from Urban Outfitters. I saw someone walking a few weeks ago with it on a shirt, and I'm like, I didn't know they had it in a shirt. I would wear that.
I love the
So,
Foo Fighters. I'm gonna see them for the first time in San Francisco in a few months.
oh my God, they're so good.
I
Oh my
can't
God.
wait. I've always wanted to see them.
I
You will
haven't
you will love it.
listened. You'll love it. I haven't listened to their new album in full. I've only listened to like because it just came out
Yeah.
about a week or so ago. So I have listened to a few tracks, but not all of it yet. So I've just been so absorbed in Kelly Land because we just recorded literally that's why we were late. We recorded our Red Flag Collector episode. So we were just like, Kelly, that's the only thing I can really think about right now. So I'm
Oh my
sure you feel
God.
similarly.
Yeah, well, I first want to say thank you guys for saying yes. I was so shocked. I thought you guys were going to say no because I know you guys are so busy and there's a lot going on. You guys have a lot of exciting things coming up. And
Oh, of course.
chemistry is right around the corner. Vegas is right around the corner. I
Yeah.
mean, new season of the talk show right around the corner. A lot of new things Kelly's doing. And I know you guys are busy too. So before we start, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh, of course. No, we're
Oh
happy
my
to do
God.
it.
Absolutely. I mean, you were like one of our like very first guests we had on our podcast, like back
Season
in
one.
was it 2020, I think?
When you guys
Um,
started, like, yeah, season one.
Yeah.
yeah, so
Always
well
happy to return the favor.
and thank you for being a very early supporter of our podcast. We appreciate it.
Of course, always. I listen all the time. I love your show.
Thank
And
you.
that brings me to my first question. I want to know how your guys' podcast came about. How did this idea come about, and how did you guys work together? How did everything start?
Jeremy, you can start the story.
Um,
Unless you want
well,
me to.
no, it's fine. This was something that I was sort of kicking around for a lot of years prior to when we finally started doing the podcast. There was actually another fan named Emily who lives, I believe, in the UK.
Yeah.
She had sort of, also had, a similar idea, and she and I had kind of talked a little bit, and nothing ever really kind of came of it. And then of course the pandemic comes and everyone is locked up in their houses. They're looking for something to do, and I'm not good at baking bread or, crafting. So,
Oh my
um,
God.
yeah, so I was just like, you know what? I'm a radio guy. I know how to do audio, and I know a lot about Kelly Clarkson. So maybe there's something here. And I went on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and there was really nothing that was artist specific for Kelly Clarkson. And then I started to look for other artists, and it was actually kind of hard to find podcasts that were just about a specific musician. I mean, there's plenty of music general podcasts out there, but I always thought it would be kind of cool to sort of hyper focus on one particular artist and sort of rally a fan base around a podcast. And I had no idea what to expect from, doing this for the Kelly podcast, but I'd seen that, her fans were really active on social media. They were very active on the message boards going back to the Express and the KCMB. And I mean, heck, you can even go all the way back to the early Kelly website message boards. You can go to Tumblr, which, Pam can talk more about. There was just, there was a lot of support online for Kelly. And I thought, you know what? Podcasting is kind of the new hotness. And let's see if this works. And I was a little unsure, even at the start, of whether we were going to be able to do 6 months worth of episodes. And next thing we knew, the ideas were just rolling in. And then we started doing kind of these little series of shows in and out.
Well,
And
even before that, because I know you asked how the two of us got linked.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Jeremy kind of put out like feelers on social media. Jeremy and I, like, we've known each other for, I don't know, I would say at least,
We've followed each other for years and known of
like,
each other.
I'd say at
Yeah.
least somewhere between 10 and 15 years in that ballpark.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, we were very much just like acquaintances. Like, I obviously never met him and like, we didn't really talk a ton, but we were always like liking and commenting each other's stuff, like whatever.
Yeah.
And you put out feelers about like, I think you had said, hey, if I start a Kelly podcast, would anyone be interested in listening? And I think I messaged you privately and I was like, hey, like if you ever want like a guest on, like I'd love to contribute. And then you were like, what do you think about co-hosting? And I'm like, what?
Wow.
Like what? Like I don't know anything about podcasting. Like, and I don't know you very well. So I was like, I don't know. Like the more I thought about it, I was out of work because it was 2020 and I was furloughed at the time and I wasn't doing anything. And I was like, screw it. I love Kelly. Let's talk about her. So we did it. And
Yeah.
it's turned into a much bigger thing than I ever thought. Jeremy had a lot higher I don't want to say higher expectations, but I was just kind of like, oh, we're just gonna see where this goes. You like made goals, and I'm just like, I'm gonna show up. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and then yeah.
Yeah, I always just I wanted to be a part of the community. What I didn't expect is to build a community around the
Yeah.
podcast. That was the biggest surprise for me. And
But
it
even
is,
early on, you had like real like goals you wanted to hit.
yeah, I mean,
So you really had a vision. I was just like, I'll talk about Kelly. This is fun, you know?
Yeah.
And then
yeah,
it snowballed into, oh, this is turning into something. Okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I just wanted to be something that was, first of all, entertaining to listen to, because if people aren't entertained, they're not going to listen. And so, um, I have to admit, the first couple of times that I talked to Pam, I was like, okay, is she going to be an engaging co-host? Am I going to have to like, carry the load for the
Well,
show?
because to preface, Jeremy works in radio for a living, so he like
Yeah,
knows how to
Right.
do this, and I don't. But also the reason why he had asked me to do it is, I think, because like I have music industry experience, so it was kind
hmm
of also to bring like a different lens to it, not just like, oh, we're fans, which is great,
Yes.
but we kind of thought, well, let's bring a different angle to this with our like own lived experiences as well. So
Yes,
Wow.
yeah. So it was really nice that I was in the radio industry at the time. Pam was in the music industry on the artist management side. And we were two people who, I mean, we're very I don't even want to say very far apart in age, but we're separated in age by a good amount. And so we sort of give two different perspectives of ages of fans, generations of fans. Pam came a little bit late to the Kelly game. I've been there since day one. But that doesn't, discount, our fandom, if you will, at
yeah.
all. Because Pam is incredibly knowledgeable
Oh,
about
thanks.
the industry and Kelly herself. And so I wanted to make the podcast entertaining at first, and then everything else on top of that was just going to be extra. And then, after we realized that yes, the two of us together can make an entertaining podcast, and we could get fun people from all around. At first, it was just going to be all around the country, then it became all around the world. Once we got all of that going, then we're like, okay, let's start setting some really big goals. And of course, at the time, Kelly's not really releasing any material because it's COVID and she's not touring. So those early days, those, like, I would say probably the first year and a half, there really wasn't a ton to talk about because we had to rely on the previous like 17, 18 years of her career for content because there wasn't anything new coming out. And then thankfully, pretty much starting with the release of her second Christmas album, from that point on, we've had a lot of really great new content to talk about. And the success in my mind of the podcast has just far surpassed what I had originally expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of leads to my second question. I want to know because you do have like a 21-year career to talk about, and you've talked about fashion, her awards, singles, performances. Have you hit that point at any point? Like, like, oh, we already talked about this, or like, oh, have you guys run out of ideas, or stuff like that? Has that like hit you guys yet?
Absolutely. So I think it comes in waves. So
Yeah.
there's definitely been times where I'm like, what do we talk about? Like we always joke that like sometimes we usually record Saturdays and sometimes it's Friday afternoon. We're like, we don't have a topic. Like we don't know. It's not all the time, but once in a while we're like, what now? So we're like, I guess we'll do this series or we'll, do something. But and I constantly have people who are not Kelly fans asking me like, what else is there to talk about? I'm like, there's so
Right.
much, but I think the fun part is that we are constantly thinking of new things. So something that actually came up in the last couple months was, we like to do album breakdowns where we like dissect an album and talk about each track and everything. Well,
Yeah.
something new that we did once, but we want to continue is a tour breakdown. So everything that's like involved with a tour. So we're kind of always thinking of like new ways to spin old ideas. And there's still a lot we've not spoken about,
Yeah.
and like something I thought about is we haven't done a lot on the talk show. Like we've done a lot of karaoke
Yeah.
episodes, but we haven't, it's almost like, where do you start? Like, so
I
there's
know.
I guess the short answer is yes and no. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we going to talk about? But then when you take a step back, there's always going to be like, she has a 21-year career. There's always going to be something to talk about, even if it's so niche and specific. That's the kind of cool part about our podcast, is that we do have the diehard Kelly fans listening. So we'd like to think they are interested in like the really like specific little moments in her career. So whereas more the casual fan may not be as interested, and that's okay. We're here for the diehards. So
Yes. And I would
Yeah,
love
and
to know. Oh, go
so
ahead, Jeremy.
I think that also, the coming up with the ideas, like Pam says, it kind of goes in waves. I mean, um, I do my 9 to 5, so to speak, although it's more like
it's
my
more.
my 5:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. Is a radio morning show, and every single day we've got to come up with topics and things to talk about, multiple different things in the show. And there are times when my partner and I decide 10 seconds before we turn on the microphone what we're going to talk about. So I'm used to the pressure of not knowing what you're going to do until the last minute, in some cases, the last seconds. So it is, it's fun to come up with these ideas. And, early on in the show, we, sort of wrote down a bunch of different ideas. I mean, I think we probably wrote down like 10 or 12 different ideas
Yeah.
of, kinds of shows that we want to do. And then there were others that, I would be, this is kind of a dumb example, but so I will be out mowing my yard and I will suddenly come up with this idea that I'm just like, I wonder if this would work for a podcast. And so then I would come in to either I would text Pam or I would talk with her the next time we were on Zoom together. And I would say, hey, so are you familiar with like how fantasy football works? And she'd be like, yeah, sort of, but not really. And we're like, all right, so it kind of works like this. And I said, what if we did that only instead of players, you were drafting Kelly songs? And she's like, okay, let's see if it works. And then it turns into this whole like thing that people just loved and were excited to be a part of and wanted. Like, were asking us, when's your next like Kelly fantasy draft? I want to be on that episode. Little things like that that just sort of come out of nowhere and then they work. And then there's other episodes that, we try something and maybe it doesn't work and we learn from that and we move on.
There's one in
repeat it.
particular that was like really our roughest episode, was like
I'm trying to remember what
debating.
that was.
It
Oh
was
yeah,
like
it was a
debating an
debate.
album, but we had no time to prep for it.
Yeah.
That didn't
Yeah.
work, but we tried. But
We
yeah,
tried, and you know what? You move on, and I mean,
yeah.
it was still, interesting content, and we still put the episode out there. But you never know what you're going to come up with. I mean, we're probably sitting on a really great idea that we just haven't really, fully fleshed out yet, and it could be, the future of the next 2 years of the podcast. We just don't know.
And there's also, we like every so often we'll do like a call to action on our social media, be like, hey, what do you want us to talk about? And like some stuff either we don't know or we don't want to talk, we don't feel comfortable talking about, or it's something that like we could use for like one of our mailbag episodes, which is basically just like listener questions that we don't necessarily think could be like a full hour-long conversation, but something to talk about for 10 minutes. So it's nice to kind of get listener feedback as well, because obviously like we're doing this because people are listening and we want people to like what they're listening to. So we love any sort of like feedback. So
Yeah, the podcast is about the fans. It's about the listeners. It's not about us. I mean, we're simply a vessel, honestly. We want to be here to start conversations with people about things in Kelly's career. And, something that we made very clear early on was that our podcast was going to be specifically about her music and her career and her show. We were going to stay away from like the tabloid stuff. We don't talk about her personal life unless it's extremely pertinent to what we talk about in her career. It's very like for right now, she's putting out an album that a lot of media is referring to as her divorce album. It's hard to not bring up the fact that she is a newly divorced woman without, you know, and also talk about her album, which is very personal in nature. So otherwise, we don't talk about, the stuff that we leave to the tabloids and whatnot, because that's, for me, that's not interesting content. And it's just a lot of speculation. I'd rather speculate on, best songs from albums and stuff that's actually going to get a conversation going between fans.
Yeah, and you guys have opened such like a big thing for me because I love your podcast and you guys have brought me to so many fans on Twitter and Instagram. And I didn't know that we had such a large community because I feel like we talked about this when I came on with you guys. Like, I didn't have any friends that were Kelly fans. I never grew up with that kind of like environment. I just thought, oh, I love Kelly so much. But when you guys started your podcast and having all these people on, people started following me and we were all like kind of like this cute little family. And I love it so much. So I want to thank you guys
Yeah.
for starting it. I want to know about the first time you guys met Kelly. I know you guys have met Kelly many times, but I'm interested to know how when you guys met Kelly, were you freaking out, stuff like that.
The very first time I met her was during she did a tour with Reba. It was the Two Worlds, Two Voices tour. I was 15, just to give some context. I was a child. And the whole time I was just thinking like, oh my God, she's real. Oh
Yeah,
my God, she's real. Like she's actually like I think that was the second time I saw her live, but the first time I met her. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm breathing the same air. So like I was like, again, a teenager freaking out. And I don't remember much about the meet and greet. Like typically how her like meet and greets go, it's very quick. You get 30 seconds to a minute. I don't remember much about at all what I spoke about because it was a long time ago, but um I was the last one in line and she was so nice and so cordial, and the photo it's so grainy. It was on like a digital camera and it's just like terrible quality, but like that's kind of nice, even though of course I would love like a nice high res photo. um there's something about it where you're like, oh yeah, it's nice and grainy, it's like of the time. And yeah, it was proof that I chose the right person to be a fan of. She was really really amazing, and I just was like, wow, like it's kind of weird thinking back because like I literally grew up with her, not in person, but as like a role model. And it's just crazy
right.
that like I'm in my 30s now and she's still such a big part of my life. And I think that just speaks volumes of what kind of person she is. So um I don't have a grand story. I wish I had more of a concrete story. I genuinely
Mhm.
don't remember much about it, but I remember what I was wearing. I was wearing Birkenstocks, which I don't know why I'd wear that to a meet and greet, but for some reason I thought that was like the cool thing to do. I love Birkenstocks, don't get me wrong, but like not for a Kelly Clarkson meet and greet. Um, and yeah, I was in Connecticut. It was it was the Reba tour. I didn't meet Reba, but it was just Kelly. And yeah, it was my first country concert, I guess you could say. So I don't know. That's my story. I don't know if it's a good one, but
Are you going to the Barnes and Noble signing? I saw that it was in New York.
I am.
Oh
I'm
my
so
God.
excited. I'm so excited. And I was a little iffy if I was going to be going because I have to go out of town that weekend and I'm just figuring out what day. Um, but because this is so early in the day, I can make it work. So I may have to like dip out. Like, I mean, not that any of us are staying around, but like I really gotta like leave pretty soon after. But yes, I am meeting her there and I'm very excited. I haven't met her in like 5 years. So it's
Oh my
because,
goodness.
well, COVID plus like it's not like I'm like meeting her on the regular anyway, but COVID definitely contributed to a lot of that, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm really excited. Um I've never been to an album signing before, so that's going to be different. I've been to book signings, but not album ones. So yeah, very excited to go and meet her at Barnes and Noble. Yay! I'm
Yay.
excited. Yeah.
And Jeremy, the first time that you met Kelly?
The first time I met Kelly was the very first Kelly concert I ever went to. I saw her on the independent tour it was a dual billing show with her and Clay Aiken. And she and Clay did their meet and greets together. So when you went backstage, Kelly and like they started off with Kelly and Clay would sit at these little like card tables, and there would be a person, like some person from the tour first, and they would hand you a slip of paper. You would write your name down on the piece of paper, and then you would slide the piece of paper down, and then either Kelly or Clay would be sitting next to them. They would see the name on the paper. You would hand them whatever you wanted to get autographed, and they would sign it and they would personalize it with your name. And then they would slide it down to the other performer, and then they would do the same thing. And then you get a, what they did was when we first got backstage, they kind of walked in and said, all right, Kelly and Clay are going to be out in just a second. We would ask you to not talk to them because they are trying to rest their voices. And, we don't want them to, lose their voice at all. Because again, this is both when both of them were very new performers. And I think this was 2000, I think it was 2003 or 2004. It had to have been 2003, late 2003. And of course, Kelly and Clay walk in and they're like, hey, everybody, what's going on? How you doing? Hey, I'm Kelly. Hey, I'm Clay. Hey, like they're talking their like mouths off. And I'm like, okay, this is definitely not what we were expecting. And so, I got to say hello to both of them as we were going by. And then they put us together for a group picture. And if you've ever been to a cattle call meet and greet before, group pictures are like everyone's worst nightmare, especially if it's somebody that you really, really like, because there is a better than good chance that you are not even going to be standing near the person that you came to see. And you're going to have a bunch of strangers in your picture, which is exactly what happened to me. Is that me and my friend that I went to the show with, we're in this picture with a bunch of random people, not to mention Clay Aiken's also in the picture. Not that I have anything against Clay, but I wasn't
You're
there
not there to see Clay.
Yeah, I wasn't there to see Clay. Like, I was a big Kelly Clarkson fan. It was my first show. I was very excited to see her. And then my friend who came to the show with me, she was like, very like, oh, Clay is going to be so corny. This is going to be so dumb. Yeah, Kelly's very talented, but this Clay guy is going to be so corny. Clay comes out, and on that tour, he started his set with a cover of Mr. Mister's Kyrie. I'll never forget this. And he walked from the back of the arena all the way to the front to the stage. That's how he came out and like appeared for the first time in the show. It was a baller move, especially for a guy who was brand new. And when I tell you that the Claymates in the audience, when I tell you that they lost their ever-loving minds when he walked out, I would be minimizing it. But then I look next to me and my friend, she is losing it. She's like, oh my God. Ah! She's screaming. And I'm like, who are you? I've never seen someone become a Claymate faster in my life. She was all about him. And so then we get backstage. She's like, we're going to stand next to Clay. And I'm like, but I want to stand next to Kelly. And she's like, no, here. She's like, you go on this side to make sure that like we put him in between us so that he can't stand next to anybody else. And I'm like,
yeah, you have to be assertive, Jeremy.
Yeah. I'm like, but I want to stand next to Kelly. And so and of course now we're in this group picture with a bunch of people. Kelly is like down at my feet and like one person over. I still remember it. She's wearing an Abercrombie pants, like dark blue Abercrombie pants and a light blue top. And, she's smiling and doing whatever. She's got her hair pulled back. And then Clay is in between me and my friend. And we've got our arms around him. I'm holding up my Kelly program because I'm like, I really wanted to see Kelly. So, I didn't exactly get to have like any kind of a moment with her at my first meet and greet other than just a very quick hello. She signed, and actually I still have the picture hanging up. It's the picture that I have hanging up in my office here. It's a page from inside the tour program. I loved this picture so much. It just thought it was like the coolest looking picture. She's got I think it's a Jethro Tull band t-shirt that's like, kind of vintage looking. She's got a black leather jacket, jeans, and she's got her hands in her pockets. She's got this cool hairdo. I just thought it was a great photo. And so she signed it. And that's the very first thing I ever got signed by her. If I could indulge you with my other story of the second time that I met Kelly, it was about a year later, not even, just a few months later. She had gone out on her very first headlining tour. It was the Breakaway Tour. And it was just her. So I got to go to the meet and greet. And this is when her fan club was giving out like 30 meet and greets for fans at every show. and I applied and got one and went backstage and finally got to like stand next to her, talk directly to her. And I just remember she walked up to me, she said, "Hey." And I walked up and I gave her a big hug. And then like she went to pull away and I didn't let go.
I wouldn't either.
And I was like, oh crap, this
Stage
is
5 clinger.
yeah. I'm like, oh crap, this is officially awkward. And so I let her go like really, really quickly. And excuse me. And then we talked for a brief second. I excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. I had with me both my Thankful and Breakaway album. And this is again back when she like you could walk up to her and she would sign whatever you had. And they said you can only get one thing signed. And I walked up to her and I had the jackets for both of the albums. And I said, I brought both of my CDs. I don't know which one I want to get signed. She's like, oh, I'll just sign both of them. And so she signed like both of them really quick. And then we took our picture. But I will never forget the fact that she had to pull away from me and I didn't let her go. So
Don't tell
one
people
day-
that.
no, I have to come clean. I have to come clean.
Okay.
So one of these days I will apologize to her. She will have absolutely no memory of this. In fact, I'm going to have to show her the picture, but she will have no memory of this whatsoever, but I'm still going to apologize because it's on my mind and I feel like I need to clear my conscience.
Yeah. And little fun fact about my second meet and greet. I won't go into a full story, but just fun fact about my second meet and greet is that it was probably 4 years later. I think it was 2012, and from my first one, and that's our podcast image. It's my meet and greet from when I was 19 years old, which was a couple years ago, and Jeremy photoshopped himself in. And I can't say that's a spoiler because like Jeremy and I just met each other like 2 months ago for the first time. So like, duh. So
yeah,
that's my little
although
fun.
I will admit that my picture that I photoshopped into it is also from a meet and greet with Kelly. So
There you
technically
go.
she's with
Gosh.
us. She's with us in
Sure.
both pictures. It's just we use Kelly in Pam's picture.
Yeah.
Well, the cover art for this episode, I'll just Photoshop my head in there too, and then for Spotify.
Perfect. That's
Go
perfect.
for it. Go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
I met Kelly for the first time last year, because I've only seen her the Meaning of Life tour, and then the rest was just like talk show appearances. Because I'm like 5 hours north of LA. I'm like Central Bay. I'm Monterey area.
Sure.
Okay.
So all I ever saw her was at the talk show. So I saw her in that karaoke search, and I wasn't gonna go. Like I like to sing, but I wasn't gonna go. And I saw that she went to the one in New York, the one that you went to, Pam. And I'm
Mhm.
like, okay. I mean, the season is starting in New York. Like she's there. Like she just showed up. She was in the area. But then Chicago comes, and I think it was Dallas, and she went to both. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. She's going to be in all of them. I think I got to go. I could finally meet her.
Yeah.
So I only had like less than a week to like prepare everything. I'm like, I'm book a flight, rent a car, get a hotel. Like I'm going to do it. I really want to meet her. And like it was never confirmed that she was going to be at these events. But I'm like, I'm sure she's going to be there. It's LA. Like it's Universal Studios. That's where she records. And yeah, she went. But, you know, she was working on all of them, doing some filming stuff for the talk show. And then she was done, and she just said, guys, I got to go pick up my kids. I only have like 5 minutes. I'm going to try and get to all of you. And before I know it, she's like walking straight towards me because the whole freaking time I'm over here holding a piece by piece vinyl. I have my shirt with her face on it. I was so excited, and she came straight towards me, and I'm like, oh my God. I was shaking. I didn't know what to say. I wasn't prepared. It's like
You black out.
I waited my whole life for this moment, but I wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, can you sign my vinyl? She's like, oh, of course. And then I feel like saying something to her, but I'm just like, she's right there. And then I wrote you this letter, and I put sunflowers all over it, and I just wrote her like this long letter. She's probably so annoyed. It was so long.
No, I'm sure
But-
she loved it.
But she was holding it the whole time. And then I saw her go into her car holding the letter. I'm like, oh my God, she took it home with her. She has it. It's so cool. And I got a picture with her. And all I told her was like, I love you so much. And she's like, oh, thank you. That was all I needed. I didn't know what else to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, that's sometimes that's all you need. And I'm so
Yes.
glad she did that because like kind of what you said, like it wasn't guaranteed she was going to show up to these. Like the New York
Right.
one was the first one. There were no expectations. No one knew. So like I went there just because I'm like, I'll just walk around, see what's up. And like she wasn't outside. And I was about to leave. And then one of the NBC staffers was like, you may want to hang around for a little bit. I'm like, okay. And then she was there, but she didn't do any photos in New York. She didn't meet any
Oh.
fans. So I remember in like, I think Chicago or Dallas was next, and people were like, I'm gonna go and try to meet her. I'm like, all right, guys, like low expectations, because New York, she didn't go around me anyway. And then every other city she did, I genuinely am whatever, I'm fine about it. But I'm so glad, because a lot of people I was reading in LA and Dallas especially met her for the first time at that event. And it was free. Like, what cooler thing for fans? A free event, a spontaneous thing, and you get to meet her right on the spot without like having it prepped at all. That's
Yes.
so cool. And I'm like so happy for you guys. Like,
Yes.
And that's so great too, because when Yoel, when we had you on our podcast, you hadn't met her yet. So it's so great that we actually get to hear that story, because I didn't know that story. That's really great.
Yeah, and the day after, since I was in the area, I tried to get tickets to the talk show, and I was able to get it that next morning, and they put me in the front row, and I'm like, okay, see if I could get Kelly's attention, because I've tried every time I went, but it's just so hard. You know, she's so busy. She has a job to do.
Yeah.
So I
talk
was in
show
the-
is very different from what because I've gone to talk show a few times. Like, talk show versus concert, she's in the zone
Yeah.
on her talk show. She like
Yes.
it's very rare that she actually interacts with the crowd, from what I tell.
Yeah, so I was front row, and then she came out, and she was getting ready to start the show, and I'm like waving, and she was looking, and then she started waving, and then she looked at me like this. She's like, "Didn't I meet you the other day?"
You look familiar.
And I was like, "Yes, we met yesterday. I wrote you the letter." And she's like, "Oh, I read it. It was so lovely. Thank you so much."
Oh my God, you got to talk to her. That's so cool.
A
That's
little
great.
bit, yes. That's
That's
the
That's
only
awesome.
interaction. And then I have tickets to. I couldn't go when you guys are gonna be in Vegas. I was so sad about it.
Oh no.
One
But
day we'll meet in person.
yeah,
Yes.
but you're going though in the first place. So that's great.
August 18th, and I'll still be in Vegas the day after, which is the very last show. So I might go 2 nights in a row.
You should see if you can get like last minute tickets at the box
Yeah.
office.
For
Because
cheaper.
you don't have to pay the Ticketmaster fees, but also the last shows of the tour are always so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Like they
Last
always do.
last nights are always the
Last
best.
nights are always really good. I like kind of wish I was going, but I can't. Neither of us can. So have the best time.
Yes, I'll try to. I'm going with my friend, but he's not going to the show. He's just going to Vegas with me. He's never been.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna ditch him in the hotel while I go see Kelly. But I might have to ditch him 2 nights in a row.
It'll be worth
Um,
it, man. I
worth
mean,
it.
like she has said that she's not doing a lot of touring outside of this, so
Yeah.
this might be your one shot to get a couple of shows in.
Yes. Okay, I have some trivia questions and I have some song
boy.
lyrics. So we're gonna
Okay.
play some games. It's gonna be so much fun.
All
Okay.
right.
Jeremy, we'll start with you. Your first question is, how many Grammy nominations does Kelly have, and how many Grammys has she won?
Oh man. Well, I know she's won 3 Grammys.
Yeah.
Let's see. That year she got nominated once for Thankful. I'm gonna say she has. Oh, now I'm gonna be embarrassed if I'm wrong, because I'm supposed to be one of the people that's right about this stuff. I'm gonna say 7 nominations.
16.
Seriously,
Yeah, but I would have gotten that correct.
I lowballed it that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to know
Holy
why?
Crap.
We did an episode recently about awards, and I remember the document, and I was like, there's a lot more than because a lot of it's country.
Mhm.
You're right. I wasn't even thinking about the country stuff.
A lot of it's country.
Dang it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's 16 or 17. I wasn't, yeah.
Yes.
Oh man.
How
Okay.
embarrassing.
Pam,
It's okay.
you get the daytime Emmys. So how many nominations does Kelly
shoot.
have for the daytime Emmys, and how many wins? Specifically
I
for
don't
her
know.
though, not the talk show, just like for her. So for her, that
I-
counts as best host and then best talk show. Those are her nominations.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so I know she's I'm gonna I'm totally gonna guess. I'm gonna say wins. I'm gonna say 4, and I have no idea. Nominations, I'll say 8.
You are one off on both of them. She has 9 nominations and 5 wins.
Damn. Okay. Well, at least I
So
was
good.
kind of close. All right.
Yes.
I had the nominations wrong, but I had the wins correct.
Oh man, we're killing it.
Yes.
Yeah. This is great. We're
It's
doing great.
embarrassing.
Jeremy, how many Billboard #1 albums does Kelly have, and what are they?
All right. Billboard #1 albums. She has Thankful. I don't know if Breakaway made #1. Breakaway didn't make #1 because of Miley Cyrus.
No, that was my December.
No, Miley got her twice.
Really?
Miley, yeah.
No, Miley wasn't around in 2004.
I think it was Hannah Montana.
Not in 2004. That was 2007.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I know like Miley / Hannah Montana.
That was my December. Why am I helping you? Why am I helping you?
Oh my God.
Why am I helping you?
But see, this is the way we are. But I swear Miley Cyrus / Hannah Montana kept Kelly from a #1 album on more than one occasion. Okay. Thankful was #1. All I Ever Wanted was #1. So that's 2. And I'm gonna say Stronger was #1. So she has a total of 3.
She does have 3. It's Thankful, All I Ever Wanted, and Piece by Piece.
Dang it.
How Breakaway and Stronger didn't hit #1 is beyond me.
I know.
Yeah, and we've been wanting to do an episode. I don't have a name for it, but something like facts about Kelly that you cannot believe are true. And one of them is that Breakaway was not a #1 album. It made it to #2, I believe. But it was never a #1 album. And Since You've Been Gone was never a #1 song either.
No, I think that peaked at #2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so bad at stats, so if you're gonna ask me another stat question, I'm terrified.
Well, yours is how many Billboard #1 songs does Kelly have, and what are they?
Oh, geez. Okay. A Moment Like This. My Life Would Suck Without You. Is there another one? Is there? Stronger? I don't know.
Yeah, those 3.
Okay. I was like, is that it? Okay.
Yes.
The first 2 were easy for me because I know those were the ones that like broke the records from going like the highest to #1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then Stronger. Okay.
Yes. Okay, Jeremy, what character does Kelly voice in Ugly Dolls?
Oh crap.
I know this one.
I don't know her name.
Can I steal? Can I steal?
Just
Yes.
steal it.
Moxie.
Dang it. I would have got it eventually. I didn't want to waste all of Yoel's time. I'd have gotten there.
That needs to be the next movie we watch on YouTube, the whole fan base.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
That's
you know,
funny.
and the funny thing is like I think we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of From Justin and Kelly. I think it's in
it's on June 20th.
June 20th is
Oh my
the
God.
20th anniversary. We did not even mention it on the podcast because we've already recorded like the episodes that'll go past June 20th. So yeah, the fact that we didn't even mention it is hilarious.
Oh my God. Pam, what character did Kelly voice in Trolls World Tour?
Delta Dawn.
Very good.
And I never even saw the movie.
I never saw either one of them.
I love Born to Die. That's a great song from
That's
the
a
Trolls
good one.
soundtrack. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, Jeremy, this one's a little hard, but what are all the coaches that Kelly has worked with on The Voice?
What?
The coaches.
All the coaches that she's worked with.
All the coaches who have been on the sidelines with her.
With her.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I swear, if you ask me all the contestants, I'm done.
Not contestants.
Pam will just turn off her. She'll be gone. Okay. Blake Shelton, Adam Levine, Gwen Stefani, Alicia Keys, Chance the Rapper, Niall Horan. Who's the other? John Legend. I'm missing one more from this year. Blake Niall. No, it was Blake. Yeah, Blake Niall, Chance, and Kelly.
I think there are 2 more you definitely didn't mention.
2 more girls.
2 more girls, yeah. One from her first season. Again, I don't know why I'm helping you, but one from her first season.
Honestly.
I'm a good person.
Yeah. And dang it, we just did a voice episode too. I'm trying to go back at all the. She wasn't. Ariana Grande.
Mm-hmm.
And
one more.
The one from her very first season was.
I think maybe it wasn't her first season.
Second.
Jennifer Hudson.
There we go.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
it. Good
Yep.
job.
Yeah.
Woo! I got
Pam,
one question right.
Yay!
Pam, an easy one, but when's Kelly's birthday and birth year?
April 24th, 1982. She's a Taurus, like me.
Oh my
Lame.
goodness. Okay, I have song lyrics. I'll give you a song lyric, and you have to tell me what goes after that. And
Oh
these are
gosh.
these are all of my favorite Kelly songs.
Okay.
Jeremy, yours is, and I know I'll never change my ways.
What
Oh
Um,
my
what song is
God.
that? It's so
I,
hard to hear it when you're like it's not in the context of like the melody
yeah.
or
Oh, should I sing it? I don't think I should sing it.
No, I don't think you should sing it either. Okay, what is the lyric one more time?
And I know I'll never change my ways.
My ways.
Should I give him an album, Pam?
I think I might know the song, but I might be lying. You can give him an album and I want to see if I'm right.
This is from Breakaway.
Never mind. I was wrong. Oh, I know what song it is. Okay.
And I know I'll never change my ways.
I know it.
My watch thinks I'm talking to it. I got a punt on this one. I don't know it.
It's Addicted, right? The song?
Yes.
Okay. If I don't give you enough, is that the lyric?
If I don't
that-
give you up now.
Up now? Oh, maybe I never knew the words, but okay, more or less.
Addicted. Okay.
Yeah.
Up now, yeah. Okay, now I hear it. Okay, that makes sense.
This is gonna be hard.
This is hard.
Pam,
We're supposed to be hosts of like a podcast about her career, and we can't get any of these questions right. We have been exposed.
Whoopsie.
I'm here to expose you guys.
Yes.
Dang it! I knew this was a hit job.
Pam, I'm longing for love and the logical.
But he's only happy hysterical, or he's only happy hysterical. Yeah, beautiful disaster.
Beautiful disaster.
Okay. Jeremy, did you know that one?
I would have gotten that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Jeremy, I bend as you break.
I bend as you break.
This is the song I thought the first one was.
Mm.
This is off of My December. No.
No. A couple years later.
Should I just turn in my podcast microphone? Like, oh no. Is this Tightrope?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, all right. Give me a second here. Give me a second. I will get to it. I have to sing the song very quickly in my head. Otherwise, I'm gonna. Nobody say anything, or you will throw me off, and I will have to start over. We're so messed up, but I know.
Yes.
Yay!
Yes. Oh,
That was so
Oh.
good.
that is ridiculous.
Okay, Pam, I'm used to feeling that fever.
Oh, it's Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just answer the song? I got that quickly. I'm used to feeling I don't know which part of the song it's in. I want to dive in you deeper. Is that it?
Yes.
I got it.
Oh
Okay.
man.
Got it.
Okay.
Jeremy, at the end of this road.
At the end of this road. This is from Sober.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have to sing the song. Like I have to start at the beginning and like quickly go through. Otherwise, I'll never get it. I might catch a glimpse of me.
Yes. Good job.
Good job.
Pam, because I feel the distance between us.
It's getting closer between. Wait, it's I do not hook up. Because I feel the distance between us could be over with a snap of your fingers. There we
Yes. Good job.
God, you are good at this.
go.
Jeremy, when you want me back again.
You want me back again. I'm waiting on the song. Crap, I'm between two songs, but I think I'm Mr. Know-It-All.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
You won't never again. Dang it. I'm sorry. You want me back again, but I ain't falling back again.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
I have a process, man. You gotta you just have to
Gotta
trust
go
it.
through it.
Trust it.
Yeah, you gotta trust the process, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pam, you helped me see.
The beauty and everything.
Yes.
Catch my breath.
And the last
I
one,
feel like you're getting all the easy ones.
You want to give me a hard one? You want to swap them?
I mean, honestly.
I'm phenomenal and I'm enough. Who knows what's after that?
Broken and beautiful.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I won't tell something. What I don't know. It's broken and beautiful.
I don't need you to tell me who to be. Yeah.
Oh, that's the word. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Totally. Yeah.
Eventually. No, I would have gotten that one wrong.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I have a question is, do you guys have a favorite guest that has been on Kelly's show? And do you have a dream guest that you want to be on Kelly's show one day?
Oh my God. I think it's so hard to keep up who's been on.
So many, right? Oh my God.
So
I mean,
many.
she's had so many great guests. I mean, for me, it's the ones that really get her laughing. So I would probably say I like it when Fortune Feimster comes on.
Love Fortune.
She's funny.
Love
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
Love her.
And
And she's a legitimate Kelly fan. Like,
oh yeah, yeah.
for years.
She's a fan. She wears it on her sleeve. And I mean, a guest that I would love for her to have is I want her to have her moment with Meryl Streep.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I loved when Dave Grohl was on because he was on for a while and like, I don't know. I feel like he doesn't do a lot of daytime TV, obviously. So it was a huge moment for me. Yeah, I would love for Meryl to be on the show. Like, just because I would love to just see Kelly's reaction. She would probably just melt on the spot and be speechless. And for the first time ever, Kelly would be speechless.
Yes. I love it when Kelly has musicians on her show. It's cool when she
Yeah.
interviews everyone, but I love people from her industry. I would love to see her more with like the pop stars we have today. Like, I don't know, Lizzo, Harry, Olivia Rodrigo, Billie Eilish. I'd love to see her like more with people from the music industry.
Yeah, because especially that's what she knows best. So it's like she can definitely ask the questions that like she knows that she may want to be that she may want to answer herself.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I'd also love to know what you guys think about her voice. You guys know her voice very well, and I've like studied her voice from the beginning of her career to now, and it's changed so much throughout her life, from American Idol to like the All I Ever Wanted days and My December. And then I feel like Stronger, Wrapped in Red time, her voice was like at her prime. It was so resonant and the vibrato, and it was so clear, and she was singing so effortlessly. Then piece by piece, like she got pregnant, but like her voice got like huskier and more raspier. And then through like Meaning of Life, her voice just took like this other turn. And now like with the talk show, I feel like her voice changed even more.
Yeah.
And now we have her voice sounding ways that we never heard of her, like from Mine, Fake Plastic Trees, all these recordings that she's done. What do you think of her voice? Do you have like your favorite part of her voice, or what do you think? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like how much her voice has changed over time? Do you see like the difference throughout her career?
Absolutely. And I think she I think recently even pointed it out in one of her Facebook or one of the lives that she did. Jeremy and I have said this a lot before, but like I think a lot of it also has to do with the way, at least on albums, like obviously her older albums are amazing, but like I think in the last couple of years, especially starting with the Christmas album, When Christmas Comes Around, I feel like they really upped their game on the vocal production, and she just sounds so crisp and so clear, and there's not a lot of, it doesn't seem that there's a lot done to her voice, and that's been a really big struggle of mine as a fan throughout the years, is like me knowing that she has this incredible gift and incredible talent, and obviously it is shown on some of the albums, but it's even better live. And it's hard when like the general public doesn't see that live, they only know the albums. I'm like, guys, she is one of the best voices of our generation, and like people need to know about that. And I really think these new albums are really showcasing that even more. I don't know if anyone else agrees with that, but also like on the live stuff, I agree. I definitely think her voice has just fluctuated over the years, not necessarily good or bad. It's just like, or worse, whatever. But it's definitely gone through its own like evolutions, kind of like what you said. Like, I do think right now is one of her strongest. I think Breakaway was super, super strong, but then she realized she was kind of at some points going a little too hard on certain things. So she definitely has been like changing it up and catering the songs to where her voice is. But I think she sounds the best now than she ever has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my example, if there was somebody who questioned whether Kelly Clarkson had a great voice, I don't know why anybody would. I would put on her performance of Fake Plastic Trees from her Kellyoke album. That is one of the most incredible, most beautiful performances that she has ever recorded. And, you know, she can belt, you know, she can sing anything. But there is something about that particular performance and how she holds the notes, about the octaves that she can reach, and just this, it's all about control with her voice. She has unbelievable control of her instrument that you cannot teach. And what's great about being a fan of hers is that as a pure singer, you can hear her progression from her first record all the way up to this new album, which has some incredible vocal performances on it as well. But you can hear the changes in her voice. I mean, you can hear her voice maturing as each album progresses, and she sort of kind of starts. I mean, she flexed a little bit on the first record, Thankful. But there are techniques that she used on that album that are not on any of the others. And then Breakaway showed that she could really just sing a great pop song, pop rock song, really. And so there wasn't a lot of like vocal gymnastics, but there were still things in there that regular singers just can't do. And, you know, I think that as the albums go, she starts to do things that are just a little bit more unique. And her voice is only getting stronger, which is like almost terrifying. Like, how much better is her voice going to be in 5 years, in 10
Yeah.
years, you know? Because it's very common for singers, both male and female, to their voice begins to degrade as they get older, like in their mid 30s, 40s, 50s. And Kelly's is still very, very strong, if not stronger than it's been
Knock on wood.
before. Yeah, absolutely. And there are several singers who had very strong voices late into their careers. The first one that comes to mind is Linda Ronstadt. She had a beautiful voice up almost right up until she quit performing. Other examples don't exactly come to mind right off the top of my head, but I think that Kelly has an extraordinary voice. And, you know, I don't think that enough people give her the credit for really being a once in a generation talent. She really truly is. The thing that stinks is that, you know, we judge everybody on album sales and
Yeah.
concert ticket sales. You know, people are going to say that Taylor Swift was more successful than Kelly Clarkson because Taylor Swift could sell out 3 nights, you know, at SoFi Stadium, and Kelly Clarkson, you know, played to 1,500 people at a theater around the corner from a Chipotle. I mean, you know, so, but that doesn't show the true artistry of who she is. I mean, Taylor Swift would get circles sung around her by Kelly Clarkson. So, I'm losing my point a little bit, but nonetheless, Kelly is a legitimate once in a generation talent that will earn and get respect even as her career ends.
Yeah, in the long run, yeah.
Yep.
Did you guys freak out like I did when she hit that Since You've Been Gone high note with the Anne Juliet recording? Because she hasn't hit that note since like 2013, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a thing. Like I feel like back in the day she would like go a little bit harder on certain things, like but
Yeah.
especially like the Breakaway eras and that, you know, but and then in her later career. She's been like taming it down, but it's not any worse. It's just different. So it was definitely a shocker to hear that again. But it was nice. I was like, oh my God, it's like the old style is back again.
Yes. Has she
Yeah,
ever, I mean, you guys will know, has she ever like canceled any shows because of her voice? Has she ever had like any vocal issues throughout her career?
Didn't
absolutely.
she canceled a part didn't she do like the mini tour in 2003? I think she canceled that because she was sick.
Oh,
There were some dates on there she might have gotten sick for, but yeah, I mean
Yeah. And
there
piece
was
by
a
piece.
yeah, and I want to say it was part of either the All I Ever Wanted World Tour, or there was another part, like a leg of a tour that was overseas that she pretty much canceled all of it because of her voice. And
Oh, I know piece by piece they canceled the last few US dates, and I think they can't I think Canada. I mean, she was pregnant, but I think also I think it was just like a mixture of just like I'm exhausted
yeah,
every way. So I think the answer is yes.
mm-hmm.
yeah, and we know for a fact that there are some days even on the talk show, because she shoots 180 episodes of that show a year, and you can't expect her to be in perfect health every single episode. And so there are times when she can't sing, and of course the karaoke is a part of the episode every day. And so we do know that they will go in and they will film a bunch of karaoke's just by themselves, and they will kind of keep those in their back pocket in case Kelly ever can't sing, so that at least
Nice.
that way they still get a new performance that they can put into the show, and they don't have to worry about there not being a singing portion of the episode, because and she will be very clear about it, like, hey, in fact it happened, the most recent time it happened was right after the Belasco show in LA.
Mm.
The next morning, it was the Wednesday they started filming again after Belasco. She did not perform a karaoke because her voice was so rough, and she came right out and said it because she had to come out a different way on the set, and she said, my voice is really sore, so we're gonna. I think they played a classic karaoke before that show. So, I mean, yes, she does it all the time.
Yeah. Um, cool. I mean, as we get closer to the end of the episode, I know chemistry is right around the corner. This episode will come out after chemistry, and you guys have heard the full album live. Do you have any early favorites or favorite song from chemistry at the moment?
I don't even know where to begin. Like, I don't I mean, because it's hard because like as we're recording this, we have heard the actual recordings of about a little less than half the songs, but um Red Flag Collectors is just hilarious. It's a very complex sounding song. I think it's very different for her and really unique for her. Um I love like I Hate Love. Like I didn't appreciate it as much live as I did on the record, but I love it. I think one song that we have collectively as of right now have not heard, the studio version, but I loved live was a song called Down to You. It was very much like a dancey, anthemic, big song, and everyone was just like bopping around in the audience. And I'm really, really loving that one.
Nice.
Yeah, I will echo that for Pam. Red Flag Collector was another one that we really really enjoyed seeing live, and the studio version held up as well. I think another one is also Down to You. I didn't see that one coming, honestly. I Even though we had no preconceived notions about any of the songs going into it, that one really surprised me. And I think they've made really, really good choices when it comes to the songs that they have released beforehand, before the album comes out, because I think they've all been really, really great songs. I think another one that people are really going to love is called Skip This Part. It is the first song on the album, and it is an emotional roller coaster of a song. I mean, it is incredibly heartbreaking,
Wow.
and I think it's one of the most vulnerable songs that she has performed in a very long time. I think it sort of reminds me a bit of like Irvine a little bit from the My December album, which is, I don't want to say it was like like a fully completed song, but it definitely, it was a very stripped down song. But imagine the emotion of that song put to like an orchestra on an album and fully produced, that's sort of the emotional area that you're going to see with Skip This Part. So I just know that, and with that song leading off the album, it really is going to set the tone for the album, and it's just going to like rip some people's hearts out. So I'm excited to hear, the studio version of that. And then there's the last song on the album called That's Right, is like the first sort of like Latin flair song that I think Kelly has ever really done that I'm really, really into. The live performance was so much fun,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a really, really cool song.
Yeah. I mean, from what I've heard so far, I love all of them. They're all like so separate in their own lane. I love them so much. I loved
Mm-hmm.
Mine and Me. I still haven't decided which one I like more. I love that they were both released together. Favorite Kind of Highs in my gym playlist. I love it so much.
Yep.
I Hate Love was so cool. Red Flag Collector, like the background vocals that she did, like Loco. I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
I love
That
that.
was so
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I left the show loving Favorite Kind of High too. I actually liked it more than Down to You, but I know a lot of people really loved Down to You. But yeah, Favorite Kind of High is a jam.
Yes. Okay, so we're getting close to the end of my recording. I end every episode with asking my guests their favorite Kelly Clarkson song. And I'm so excited to ask you guys this because who better to ask than you guys? Because I ask everyone and they're like, oh, I don't know. I really don't know. So then I have to whip out my phone, play them Stronger, Since You've Been Gone, Breakaway, Because of You, Heartbeat Song. I have to go down the songs and then they know every single one of them. And I'm like, so do you have a favorite song now? So I want to know about your guys' favorite Kelly Clarkson song ever.
Oh my God, it's so hard to pick. I mean, I have like my default answers. I mean, there's ones that like will change with depending what mood I'm in, whatever. I think one that will always have such a soft spot for me. This probably isn't my answer, but one that will always be like a top three. It's the most basic answer ever, but it is Since You've Been Gone because it's the song that made me huge, huge fan. I knew her beforehand. I knew a few of her songs, but that's the one that really gravitated and pulled me in. But I think my absolute favorite, which is ironic because I don't listen to it very often because I really just have to be in that headspace. I think my favorite song ever is Maybe from My December. It's just lyrically incredible. It's just one of my favorite things she's ever worked on. It's very raw and it's a very it's a song that's very much a roller coaster. It starts off a little quiet, but then it kind of explodes. And it's very much I mean, as Kelly says for Chemistry, I think that, I think Maybe is very much a range of emotions in one song, and I absolutely adore it. So I think that's my answer. It's Maybe.
Nice. Okay,
Nice.
Jeremy.
I think for me, I will never give anyone grief for picking a big single as a favorite song because there's a reason why those songs were selected as singles, and that's because they're great songs and they are mass appeal. I mean, there's a lot of people who like the singles as, some of their favorite songs. And so, it's a close race for me between Stronger and Since You've Been Gone, but I think Stronger is probably my favorite song when it comes to just the songs that I can listen to over and over again and just never get sick and tired of hearing them. I mean, you can play Stronger for me anytime you want, and I will still bob my head, bounce, you know, my leg will start moving. I won't be able to help myself. I'll start, mouthing the words or at the very least, probably singing along. And so that one for me is a very easy choice. Now, if I were to try to make like a little more of a niche choice, I would probably have to say now I have like 8 songs that are all in like my very niche choice of songs. I would probably go with Long Shot.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Yeah, just because it's one of those songs. Again, it's another one of those songs that I never get sick and tired of hearing. It's just a song that makes me happy. There's a lot of different songs that she has that were never singles. They were just album tracks that just make me happy. That's one of them. And there's a lot of like, it's like
You know, if Stronger is number one, maybe Since You've Been Gone is like 1B, and then like 2A is Long Shot, and then like there's like 2B down to like 2J. So
Huge.
so it's very hard because I mean, she has a long career. She has 10 studio albums and a bunch of other releases on top of that. And there's just a lot of great choices to pick from. And she is a great songwriter. She surrounds herself with great producers and has had a lot of really, really great songs. So it's tough to narrow them all down.
Yes. Out of the hits, for me, I will never get tired of Mr. Know-It-All. Like, I will never get tired of it ever. And then Tightrope means a lot to me, and Sober means a lot to me.
Oh, Sober,
And
of
then,
course.
Yeah.
yes. And I love Let Me Down. I know, Pam, you love Let Me Down too.
Yes. So it's such a good song. It's just there's so much energy in it.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
and
like an explosion.
Bad Reputation is so good too.
Yes. Thank you.
There's so
Thank
many
you.
good ones. So many good ones. I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to be here. I know you guys are busy, and I really had the most amazing time. So thank you guys.
Oh, you're
Of
very welcome.
course.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. It's nice to speak to you again, and I'm excited to listen back and hear this.
Yeah.
This was a lot. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. If you guys can email me like a good address that I can use for each of you, because I like to send thank you notes for all of my guests. And then I have a playlist on Spotify and Apple Music that all of my guests could pick a song to add to that playlist. So let me know what song you want to add.
Ooh,
That'll
do
be
we have?
tough.
Do we each pick one, or we do one
Yeah,
collective?
each of you will pick
Oh,
one.
should we just be doing the new albums just so we get like more streams? So it gets more streams. I
Ooh.
don't know. Ooh,
And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you so much once again.
Oh, you're very
thank
welcome.
you, thank you. When is this coming out? Or ballpark? July?
I'm thinking early mid July.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's great. Okay, so we have
Awesome.
I need to think about what song I'm going to be using. I have no idea. That's going to take a lot of time to think about.
Pam needs time to get her homework done.
I do. I do. I do.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you
Perfect.
so much, Uel. This was so fun.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys so much. Bye.
Awesome. All right, we'll
Thanks.
talk to you soon. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.